What's going on, people? My name is Antoine, this is ATM Tech, and welcome to the channel. So it's coming up to that time of year where Samsung will be looking to release a new set of flagship devices. And if you like to keep a close eye in tech news, you will have seen a few leaks out there, notably one of the main ones being what looks to be a Z Fold 3. Now, I'm a huge fan of the Fold series and I've even made a few videos on them. So if you're new here and you haven't seen those already, go ahead and check one of those out. Now, I use the Z Fold 2 as my personal phone for quite a while, and although it's a great phone, it's definitely not perfect. So in today's video, I'm going to give you my wish list of the top 5 things that I think the Fold 3 needs to have to be successful. And make sure you stick around to the end because the last one will definitely surprise you. Now, if you are new here, my name is Antoine, and on this channel we do tech reviews, unboxings, hands-on, all that sort of good stuff. So if that sounds like your cup of tea, go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below. And if you don't subscribe, well, that's cool as well. Anyway, the first thing on my wish list for the Fold 3 is S Pen support. So you may have already heard there's rumors that there's not going to be a Note series this year. I say rumors, but a top Samsung executive early in the year basically said there's not going to be a Note, probably down to the chip shortage. So you can take that as a rumor or you can take that as a fact. So it would be nice for them to keep up the tradition of releasing a new phone with an S Pen this time of year like they have done for the last 10 or so years, even if it's not actually a Note. Not only that, but the large screen of a Fold is absolutely crying out for an S Pen. I think for a phone with that form factor and that size, an S Pen would be a perfect complement. I have used Note phones for many years, but with my hands and the tiny S Pen, it's just never really felt comfortable to use a pen often. I think a redesigned S Pen like what's available for the S21 Ultra would really complement this phone. The second thing that I think the Fold 3 needs to have is a 120Hz outer screen. Now, the Fold 2 had a 120Hz inner screen, but the outer screen was just 60Hz. Now, the outer screen on the Z Fold 2 was more than large enough to do majority of your tasks. I found that you only really needed to unfold it if you wanted to consume some media or if you wanted to type a bit of longer text. So you definitely spend a good amount of time using the outer screen. But the problem is with the inner screen being 120Hz and the outer screen being 60Hz, you were getting different experiences depending on which screen you're using. I just think adding 120Hz to the outer screen will create a bit of parity and you're not feeling like you're downgrading when you're using the small screen over the larger screen. It's a small thing, but it really makes a difference. When you use a phone that has 120Hz, you do get used to it quite quickly, but with the Fold, if you're switching from 60Hz to 120Hz, that can be quite jarring. So again, I think it would just be a good addition to bring things in line and enhance the user experience. The third thing the Fold 3 needs to have is a flagship camera. Now, a lot of people probably don't know this because they've probably never used a Fold phone, but the Fold 2 doesn't have a flagship camera. Now, it's a £2,000, $2,000 phone, so you would kind of assume that it has the best camera that Samsung has to offer, but it doesn't. Now, don't get me wrong, the camera's not bad, but when you compare it to your other flagships, your S21, your S20, your Pixel iPhones, there is definitely a step down in quality, which is a shame because the massive screen makes for a really good viewfinder when you're using the camera. But on the flip side, the massive screen kind of exposes the not as good quality. Now again, don't get me wrong, the camera isn't bad, but I just think for this level of premium flagship, it needs to have the best camera that is available to Samsung. So moving on to the fourth thing that I think the Fold 3 needs to have, and that's water resistance. I get that the physics and the engineering behind creating a phone that folds, there's probably going to be some gaps when it folds, some nooks and crannies. I get all that, but just humor me for a second. So at the end of the busy week, I like to take a nice long bath, a nice long soak, sit on my phone, watch TikToks for 2 hours. But the problem with the Z Fold 2 is I can't take that in the bath and feel comfortable and safe with it, because if I drop that phone, it's game over. Now, over the years, we've all got accustomed to water resistant phones. Your hands can be wet, you can handle the phone, you can take your phone out in rain, you can get splashes on it, no worries whatsoever. We've all got accustomed to that. Now with the Z Fold 2, I had to treat that thing like an absolute baby because yeah, one, it wasn't water resistant, so any little splashes could potentially damage it. But not just that, the cost to repair these phones is astronomical. And I just think if they figured out a way to add water resistance, that would create a lot of peace of mind. When you have a phone like the Fold 2, you're already quite aware of how much it costs and how fragile it is. But it would be nice to be able to use the phone as you have used other phones and not worry about it too much. And water resistance plays a big part in that. So the final thing that I think the Fold 3 needs to have, and this is the one that might surprise you, is it needs to retain a high price. So obviously folding phones and folding technology is still very, very new to the market and it's still in its young stage. And price wise, it's inaccessible for a majority of people. I guarantee at least 3/4 of you watching this video right now don't know a single person who owns a Fold. So there's definitely a lot of people who are fans of these these folding phones but can't justify the price. So you would think a good thing would be to bring the price of these folding phones down. Problem is, because folding phones are still so new yet so desired, by bringing down the price, you are kind of diluting the allure of these phones, and then very quickly having a folding phone is no longer special. And I think to go from a brand new technology that hardly anyone has to something that a lot of people have in such a short space of time is a bad thing. I think Samsung should continue to let the early adopters bask in the glory and enjoy their moments, because right now folding phones are all about exclusivity, and if you take that away, then it loses a bit of fanfare. Now obviously if the price is too high and they don't sell lows, then they're not making money. But right now, I don't think folding technology is about making money. I think it's about making fans. And I think Samsung could probably hold out 1 or 2 more years of a high price, and then the demand is just pent up, so that when the price does become reasonable, everyone's just flocking towards it. Because you know, if or when Apple do eventually go down the fold route, that's exactly what's going to happen. So I think it would be a good idea if Samsung kept the price high just for a little bit longer. So there we are. That's my wish list of the things that I think the Fold 3 needs to have to do well. Any you agree with, any you disagree with, let me know in the comments down below and we'll have a chat. But anyway, that's enough of me. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and leave a like down below. But my name is Antoine, this is ATM Tech, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.